Now, Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi has reiterated his call for Eskom to write off the municipal electricity debt. Lesufi made the remarks before delegates at the province's Energy Indaba, where he also committed to ending load shedding. Some municipalities in the province owe Eskom 13 billion rand. Joining us to make sense of this is Miyelani Holeni, who is the Group Chief Advisor of Ntiyiso Consulting Group. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time. How should we begin to interpret this goal and perhaps some level of understanding on what is possible?
We must understand the context of this move with the Eskom, National Treasury, as well as the municipalities. In the context of where the economy sits currently, we must also understand that, each one of the municipalities are doing their best to run their affairs, or their businesses of electricity in order. And on the other side, Eskom has got a huge responsibility as well to be able to continue and render services to those municipalities and to the population in general. So the issue here is that if anyone is buying services from the other, there must be a commitment to be able to pay for those particular services, and that goes all the way down to the consumer. So the whole issue of the ecosystem that we are dealing with is that there must be exchange of payments so that the sustainability across the value chain. However, when those payments are interrupted, and for valid reasons, there needs to be mechanisms that are put in place to be able to ensure that none of the parties here is disadvantaged, i.e. municipalities as well as Eskom, and on the other side, the consumers are not shortchanged.
What challenges do you believe that municipalities have perhaps faced in the past 25 years when it comes to establishing a culture of payment?
So the issue of culture of payment is one, and it's a crucial one because it drives not only for municipalities, but it's similar for Eskom as well, because Eskom is also a distribution side to their business. If you take the likes of Soweto and the other areas where Eskom is supplying electricity directly, especially to the residential as well as the business customers that it has. And municipalities equally have the same profile of customers. So the issue of a culture of payment is one that we can argue that, it goes way back, to when there used to be boycotts. And I think it has not been quite established that, payment for services in some communities is a must. Electricity is something that it must be paid for. The other services, of course, municipalities have got free basic services. They have subsidies. They have thresholds, which they can at least offer to various consumers, including the indigent, where they've got a package. But in general, those that can afford are supposed to be paying for their services. But the bigger issue here is between the supplier of electricity, who must transmit, who must generate, who must transmit, as well as in some cases distribute, and the municipalities that also have an electricity business. We must also look into that operating model of municipalities to be able to ensure that it gets the consumer to pay, and it gets the consumer to understand that, this service is not supplied in lieu of any other reason, but, for payments so that they can be sustainable. And I think that is the big issue which we also need to be putting into the agenda in terms of, the customer education, the customer awareness, and all of those things that drive, and the ease of payments on the side of municipalities.
We've heard the Premier speaking about a deadline that he set of January for resolving Gauteng's energy issues, saying that he's given himself the time frame. I mean, how possible is it, especially looking at the back and forth we've heard around, ending the load shedding by December 2023, and then that being changed and then being brought again? How realistic is this goal?
So I think where the Premier sits, and I think, reading the statements as well, uploading the likes of Mfuleni for applying for the debt relief and so on and so forth. But I think the issue of solving the energy crisis, not only from a Gauteng point of view, but from a national point of view, we appreciate is a mammoth task. Eskom at this stage does not have all the solutions. But the attempts that are coming forward in terms of whether it's co-generation, whether it's the PV on the roof and so on and so forth, which are coming forth, will go a long way, obviously, towards alleviating the type of crisis that we are facing now, understanding that, we also need to move beyond, just having a grid-tie system where you just have a generation during the day, but you need some storage in terms of, battery so that you can keep the household going or the business going when there's load shedding. So I think that is a mammoth task. January maybe is a bit ambitious, but I think, the understanding that we should have is that there are solutions that are coming forward, and those solutions, if you hear about, 8,000 megawatts, it's not something small that, must be generated to close the gap to avoid, the stages of load shedding, especially the devastating stages there. So January may be ambitious, but I think, we need to actually get into the motion, which is what is being emphasized, that let's drive a plan that goes towards ensuring that the households, can at least keep themselves, keep the lights on, businesses can keep the lights on, and be able to at least avoid, those the instances where there's load shedding.
Yeah, we're going to leave it there with you for now. Thank you so much for your time. Miyelani Holeni, Group Chief Advisor at Ntiyiso Consulting Group.